and welcome to GC365. I'm Cami Barker, and I'm here with my good friend, Jen Boyington. We are covering day 137 in the One Year Bible. Jen, before we even get into any scripture or anything, I just kind of want to let people get to know who you are. I invited you here for a reason, and we'll get to that. But tell us, what is your job around here? What do you do?
Yeah, I am the director of Hope Creek Charitable Foundation, which is our nonprofit. And it's probably
a rather large nonprofit.
It is. It used to be kind of the hidden secret, but now it's pretty much known as the Mill Creek Community Food Bank.
Yes.
But there are other programs. It's not just that.
You feed lots of people.
Lots
Kids,
of
backpacks,
people.
all sorts of food going every direction.
Yep. It's been a busy year.
Yes, absolutely. I know it keeps you very busy. Plus, beyond working, keeping yourself busy with the nonprofit, you're a working mom.
I am. That's new for me. I didn't work with my other two, and so I just had my third. He's 6 months old, and I don't know. Yeah, it's
you stay busy.
I stay very busy.
Yeah, and they're all boys, so
all
she stays busy. Okay,
so pray for me.
Again, I want to ask a couple questions. You are like the record holder on staff for streaks.
Yeah.
So tell us, what streak do you hold?
Okay.
Or what record in streaks do you hold?
So I'm 3.5 years in of
every day.
1,500 days or something like that. It's a lot of days.
And every day you open the Bible.
The Bible app.
The Bible app.
Yeah.
So I don't always read my Bible on my phone. I have a hard Bible where right next to my Power of a Praying Parent, which is an awesome book if you don't have it.
Yeah, it is.
So I read my hard copy. I read websites. I also use my phone. So you have your app, and what's your routine?
So I started doing the streak before I got hired here. So it was kind of interesting that it was a big deal.
It's kind of a big deal.
I was so excited when I first got hired. I was like, do the streak. And they didn't for like a year.
And then we kind of made it a big deal.
Yeah, now it's a big deal. And so what I did from the very, very beginning before I got on staff was I did this thing called 60 in 60 in 60. Huh. And so what it is you set your alarm every hour to pray for 60 seconds. Every 60 minutes for 60 days.
Oh, anyone who knows me knows I've got a lot of alarms. That is totally up my alley.
Right. And so it just automatically gave me every 60 minutes.
I'm praying
for 60 seconds.
That.
And so then it's just kind of been this routine that's ingrained, and it's all about habits.
But then, and so the habit has been every morning you wake up and you open the Bible.
And I was thinking about it too. I don't always read the
One Year Bible reading for the day.
But I like to see what other people have highlighted.
Yes.
Or I like to see the verse of the day.
Because it might speak to you in your life. Absolutely.
Totally.
That's good.
And so
highlighting's a big deal.
But then I'll go back and I'll just read through it later.
Nice. Yeah. Okay, so I'm a mom I got 5 kids between my husband and I, and we, the way that I catch up on my One Year Bible is laundry.
Really?
I got 5 kids, so there's a little bit of laundry. And so I make a huge stack of clean laundry on my bed, and I just listen to it audibly, and I catch up on my One Year Bible while I'm hanging and folding and everything else. So what's your trick? Because you don't read it every day. So what's your trick to stay on top of the One Year Bible?
So
how do you
my
finish?
Commute is like 35 minutes, so I can get 3 days in at a time.
Oh, that's awesome. That's
so I just play it. Well, and I kind of like the idea of my kids are now hearing all of that.
Yeah.
Even if they're on their
there's
tablets.
Some things I don't know. If the kids have some crazy questions when they hear some things out of the Bible. It's not exactly PG.
No, it's not. But I was like, if it's good enough for in the Bible, it's good enough for them. So.
Amen. I love that. Okay, so let's get into scripture.
Sorry.
No. I loved it. That was insightful, and I hope that helps somebody because it's real life. We're all living with kids and work. And
alarms make a big difference.
We got to figure out. It does.
Yeah.
It does. Okay, so thank you for that, Jen.
Sure.
I appreciate it. Our reading starts today in 1 Samuel, chapters 20 and 21. This is near and dear to me. It's a story that I could read over and over. Obviously, every year I read it, but it's one that I love. My son's name is David.
Mm-hmm.
After this, David, it's the friendship between Jonathan and David. And they're BFFs.
Mm-hmm.
And when we were talking and we were kind of discussing what this is all about, David would have died if it wouldn't have been for his friendship with Jonathan.
Mm-hmm.
I hadn't really thought about it. I guess I was all caught up in the drama, but it's true.
Right.
We wouldn't have all of the beautiful stories of David had we not had Jonathan there to save his life.
Well, and I think, too, trusting Jonathan was huge.
Yes.
Because Jonathan could have come back and said no.
Yeah, he is born of his father. He could totally
where do you do that loyalty?
Yes.
That's one of the things for me is family more important than friendship, or how does that work?
In this case, he chose David over his
did.
dad, which was huge.
It was pretty cool that he did that.
Protector.
And
That's
that
cool.
David, yeah.
Okay. So then what happens is there's a whole arrow shooting thing. If you haven't read the story, please do, where basically Jonathan gives a signal to David that, hey, my dad's out to get you.
Mm-hmm.
And David realizes he has to leave town. He has to get out.
Yep.
And something that you brought up, and I love it, is this points out to leadership. We talk often here at Gold Creek about how we are leaders, and leaders may have to do or lead by doing, but we need people to be doing things, but our leaders have to be able to recognize who it is that is going to move up through more leadership roles, and
be okay with that.
And be able to hand the baton off.
Right.
And here's Saul, who raised up David to be an amazing warrior. And rather than looking at him and saying, wow, awesome job, that's my prodigy, like, that's cool. He was like, no.
I want the glory.
I want the glory. Glory's mine.
Yep.
Stop talking about David. Instead of looking and being proud of this young man and handing the baton off.
Right.
Yeah, okay, so you're a leader of many. You've got a few leaders in Hope Creek.
I have a few, yeah.
So is it hard to hand off the baton, or are you one that can be like, ooh, good job, high five?
It is hard. It does get hard, especially if it's something that you worked really hard on.
Oh, yeah.
And then they come in and see a different path to it. I mean, even just reading this, how we both have two different perspectives.
We do, yes.
And what I got out of it is so different from what you got out of it.
Oh, it's very true.
And yet, it's kind of like, but wait a minute, don't you want to hear what I have to say?
Right.
Because what I have to say is just as important. Absolutely. And so, yeah, I mean, it's sort of the same thing of letting your leaders take the reign and hands off.
And pride comes in when it turns to jealousy versus 100%. Like, I'm proud of you for doing this. It could be, no, I want it.
Yeah, where's my recognition?
Yeah, my recognition. I like that. That was insightful, so thank you. I appreciate that. So, okay. There was a full circle thing that happened at the very end.
Cool.
It was cool.
Right?
David, at the very end, is like, okay, at the very end of our reading for today.
Yeah.
He needs a sword. He's going into battle. He's got Saul hot on his heels.
He's got to protect himself. He doesn't know what the next turn is going to be.
And there's one sword available.
Goliath's sword.
How cool is that?
And I'm like, full circle. Like, he killed him, 30 years ago, maybe?
Right, yeah.
And then,
I wonder how long ago
and then he comes back, and that's the only sword available.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of one of those moments of, even in like a wrestling ring, you don't get the belt to the very end, but this is his belt.
Oh, for sure.
And
how intimidating would it be? David would be intimidating as it is, but then here he's got Goliath's sword.
Right?
Absolutely.
And so it's just one of those things of
God's watching out.
God has a plan.
He does.
And he has those little tidbits of reward of, hey, I've carried you all the way through this.
Yeah. Talk about leadership there, too.
Yeah, I love that.
Okay, we're going to the New Testament, John 9.
I loved this story.
I
don't know why, but I just loved this story.
I do, too. But you got something, again, different out of it than I did.
Right?
So this story is the disciples and Jesus are walking along, and there's a blind man who has been blind since birth.
Right.
Jesus takes some mud. I don't know, does he mix
on it?
Right, he mixes up the mud,
right,
throws it on the guy's eyeballs, and says, go find this certain pool and go wash it off.
Yeah.
Okay, so it raises a few questions. Why mud?
Right.
Why does there have to be mud?
One of my questions was, does Jesus spit loudly? Because
I don't like spit.
But the guy is blind. He can't see him.
Oh, that's true.
So does he know, he's going to put spit on his eyes? That's what I want to know.
Yeah. No. That's a valid question. And then there's one certain pool. Like, he names the pool.
Right.
Are there other pools? Why does there have to be that pool? Is that pool special? Is that mud special? Like, yeah, there's questions. There's lots of questions.
I mean, he could have easily just healed him on the spot, but he made him take this journey.
There was a process. So the whole story kind of begins in verse 3, where the disciples are asking, okay, Jesus, this guy is blind. He's been blind since birth. So did he sin before he was born or something?
Right.
Or really, was it the parents' sin?
Yeah.
And Jesus' words are, this happened so the power of God could be seen in him. Those were powerful words to me, because it's like, we all go through bad stuff, right?
Totally.
Whether it's from our sin or from our parents' sin, or maybe it's so that God can be seen in us.
Right.
And so I guess kind of what I got out of it was the challenge for each of us, that no matter the bad day you're going through, let God have the chance to be seen through how you handle that situation. Turn to him, look to him, see how he can use that situation for his glory. It's good. Okay, but you had a different take, and I love it, on the miracle.
On the miracle. Yes. So
your kids.
My kids.
How do they trust you?
Right. So bath time is always a terrible night.
And you have 3 to bathe.
And I have 3 to bathe. Thankfully, my mom does a lot of it.
Oh, nice. During the day or something? Or does she come over and
once
do it?
a week.
Oh my gosh, I love that.
Because I'm terrible at it. And especially my middle child, he hates to get his hair washed. And so I have to keep telling him, okay, but it's not going to get in your eyes. And so this story to me was kind of like, so they have to trust me that it's not going to get in their eyes.
Yes.
They have to trust that it's going to wash their hair and it's all going to be okay.
Yes, they're going to be okay in the end.
They're going to be okay in the end. And so they trust me before I even put the soap on their head.
Yes.
Possibly before they even get in the tub.
Yes.
And so to me, this guy, what was he thinking?
Yeah, did he trust before?
Did he actually say, like, give his consent of,
Yeah,
okay,
I'll take some mud on my face.
Some mud on my face. Sure, that makes total sense.
I love it. No, I love it. It's true. Did he trust beforehand?
Right. What was his
Or was he like, I'll do whatever?
Or
Let's
was it
give it a
like,
shot.
Jesus was like what I do with my kids sometimes, just they're not looking, quickly pour the soap on their head, and then they don't have a chance.
Yeah.
They don't have a choice. They have
We gotta wash it off.
Yeah. But I mean, to me too, I'm sure this journey that he took, everyone was making fun of him if he passed by anyone that had mud all over his face.
Like, what is that guy doing?
Right.
Look at him. And he's stumbling around. Like, he's blind.
Right?
But he's always stumbling around. Like, he's always been blind. So, yeah, maybe they're used to it. I don't know. But it is
And what
odd.
was he expecting? Why would he want to not be blind anymore?
Yeah, what did he think he was going to see?
Right.
Do you have good eyesight? Have you ever had?
2015.
Oh, you were born with that?
No, I don't know.
I had LASIK surgery, and that's what I have too.
No, I don't have LASIK.
Oh,
I was born with that.
Oh, after I had LASIK, it was like, whoa, I can see so many things, and I don't have to reach. Automatically, the first morning, I reached for my glasses before I opened my eyes because I can't see anything without them.
Really?
And so, yes, I love having LASIK. So I can't really relate to the not seeing anything, but I can relate to the power of being able to see that miracle.
Yeah. So. And I think the cool thing too is people had obviously spoken so highly of sight that he was willing
like, I
to
want
do
that.
anything.
Yep,
yeah.
absolutely. Okay, we're going to jump into Psalms. Psalms 113 speaks about a childless woman.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about you and how you related to this.
So Link and I were married for 6 years before we got pregnant, and we tried everything, all the different IUIs and fertility treatments and all that
babies.
stuff. We wanted babies. Yep. I wanted 6 at one point.
Oh, my
crazy.
Goodness.
Yeah, I'm good with 3. But now I have 3, which is just crazy to me.
Yeah.
And now looking back, hindsight is everything, always is. Looking back, I'm like, the journey that we went through and all those negative tests and the IUIs not working and the hormone shots and all that fun stuff. But yet it brought us closer.
Yeah,
and we were able to get through that. Mm-hmm. And
kind of goes back to seeking God in your trouble and your bad times. Absolutely, giving God the glory. That's good. That's good.
Yep.
So I was interested in Psalms 114. It kind of took me back to my religion courses that I've had back at my university in Montana State. Go Bobcats. You kind of look at the Bible more as a lit reading. You can't make faith statements. I went to a 4-year college and it wasn't biblically based at all. But we studied the Old Testament, and they go over and over the story of the Exodus story, and it's like it's written for kids. It says, it's going over how the Red Sea was parted, and it says, the Red Sea saw them coming and hurried out of the way. Can you picture what they drew for that page in the book? And the water of the Jordan River turned away. The mountains skipped like rams and the hills like lambs. That's kind of fun. Yeah. I think it'd make a good kid's book. And it just reminded me that the Bible is written for all ages, for all circumstances. And I love that it has playful little things like that in there. So,
Well, and I think that kind of goes back to my kids and how having a childlike faith.
Oh, for sure.
And so having that kind of picture of it's a children's book.
And it's,
and having that childlike faith. I think I love it's huge.
I love it.
Yeah.
All right, Proverbs 15. This is how we're going to end. A bowl of vegetables with someone you love is better than steak with someone you hate.
Yeah, I was thinking about that because I love steak. 1 year for Christmas, that's all I asked for.
That's all you got?
I got
that's
Omaha
funny.
steaks delivered.
And all it made me think of was, did they have troubles getting people to eat vegetables back then too?
Right.
Did they threatening their kids with their vegetables?
Yeah, did their kale go in the garbage?
Ah, that's hilarious. So eat your vegetables and your steak with people that you love.
Read a children's book.
Yes.
And have a child like me.
There you go. I love it. Thank you so much for joining us. Have a great day.
Yeah.